Kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? It is day 7 of RPG A Day 2019, and today our prompt for the day is familiar if you're going in linear fashion. And I'm doing this one late, which means I'm doing it this morning on day 7 instead of doing it the night before and setting it up to go ahead and broadcast. And I was really beat yesterday, and I was also having a little bit of trouble. I hate that light. Finding familiar. That's an inexcusable joke. But it took me a while to think about, like, geez, what am I going to say about this, or what am I going to say that's positive? Because the first thing I thought of is very often, it's been my experience that when we go outside our comfort zone, we can explore so much more of this hobby. So we leave the familiar behind, because for human beings, the familiar is a source of comfort and is place of solace. You feel safe in the familiar. The familiar feels like home, and but you can very often find so much more in this hobby when you go out and explore. And even if you return to the familiar afterwards and say, well, I like this better, at least you have a better idea of why you like it. Although sometimes when you return to the familiar, you find out that it no longer feels like home, that you've changed. However, thinking about this a little bit more, very often, it's been my experience when gaming that if I hold on to something that's familiar, whether it's the system or the setting or the character or the trope or something, that it makes it easier for me to go explore another part of the hobby. So I could be, exploring a new system, like keeping the trope a little bit the same, exploring a new type of character or a new role in the party, or a role, as a character, a role as a player, role as a game master. Do you want to switch those roles? All that kind of stuff. It can make it easier if you're holding on to one thing. If you have something that's like a touchstone or a benchmark, so having something familiar, there can be not only a source of comfort, but something you don't have to think about because you know how that part works, if you know what I mean. And what I've experienced lately, more and more, and what I've grown more and more enamored with, is the concept of this world with a twist when I play games, which is something I did not play in the past. I played something that was completely alien to Earth and life as I knew it, except people had 2 arms and 2 legs and that sort of thing. But very often when you play in that manner, I've had some lessons recently with this, playing in one setting and now and playing in some different settings, where the players all have kind of touchstones. They know how the world works. They don't have to ask questions about certain things because they understand this is how the world is in 1890, or this is how the world is in 1950 or 2019. It makes it easier to then put in this little strange thing, in the setting or what have you, that's a little bit different, that can make it a little bit more unusual. It's the twist. And that can be very, very compelling in gaming. So, gaming in a setting where things are familiar, but something is wrong, something is a little strange, that can be very, very powerful. So, that's my thoughts for today. Take it easy, kids. I will talk to you later. And I'm going to turn off this broadcast. Yes, I'd like to stop streaming. The end.